Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's the Weekly Pint. It's a show that is not a show, which means it's not the show that's not a show because it's not a show. So it's a happy hour. Hang on, I messed my sound all up. Hey, hang on just a second. Check. Hey. There we go. This is an excuse for us to all hang out together and have a drink together. I hang out down here in the basement, and we drink together, guys. So the point of this is to have a conversation. You guys tell me what you're drinking. I'm going to dive into a drink. It's sitting right there. You can't see it, but I will have it in my glass in just 1 second. Let's see. Marco says he is, of course, getting his to-go food and having a truth. Julia is having a Wolf's Ridge chocolate cinnamon toast brunch cream ale. That's a lot going on there. Chocolate cinnamon toast brunch cream ale. I think I can get behind that. What I could not get behind for the first time this year was one of this weekend's higher gravity beer vent beers. That brunch whatever it was called was a bit much for me. It was not my thing, but chocolate cinnamon toast brunch cream ale I can get behind. And then John is drinking Braxton's Imperial Chocolate Cinnamon Roll. I can get behind that too. Another thing I can get behind is today's higher gravity beer vent beer, Esoteric. You guys can't see it because I still have never fixed actually I did fix the lighting, but I was charging the light and I didn't put it back. So, you can barely see what I'm drinking. It's Chocolance. It's a chocolate stout. Cocoa nibs provide this full-bodied stout with notes of bittersweet chocolate and hints of dark cherries. Finishes smooth, like a decadent dessert. That's what I need. It's 7% ABV, seasonal release. Sign me up for that. And I'm going to sign myself up for it right now. Going back to the point of the show, of the conversation, you guys have clearly figured out how to chat with each other. There is another option. You can always call into the show. The number is right there on the screen. Right there. 567-70-DRINK. That's 567-703-7465. You can call in, and it'll ring right here on my phone. And then we can talk that way. Or you can just keep chatting the way you are, because that works too. And I'll pull that up on the screen for you so you guys can see anybody that chimes in on other platforms, because wherever you're listening, you can chat. A little bit of housekeeping before we get too far into this. I am going to change things, I think, here in the next month-ish. I think the live stream I'm going to on YouTube, I think I'm going to pull the live stream into its own channel, if that makes any sense. So if you want to pull up past episodes, it'll be on a different channel, or if you want to watch live, you'll have to subscribe to a different channel to do that. I think that's probably best for the Gnarly Gnome channel, the algorithm, math and science and things, numbers. I think that YouTube is going to like it better if I'm not live streaming once a week, like a 45-minute to an hour show, in addition to 5-minute videos. I don't think it's liking that very much. So that's coming up. I'll fill you guys in more of those. It's actually happening. Also, I've been lax about old episodes of the Weekly Pint. There's a bunch on there. That's going to go back after the beginning of the year, to where you can only access a show for about a week after it was broadcast, and then it's going to go away unless you're in Nomi. Then you'll have access to the full back catalog, but just something I'm working on. Let's see. Julia says, Brunchies from Ouzelfinch. I haven't opened it yet. Ouzel normally puts way too much crap in their beers for me. Yeah, that would be the one. It was a lot going on. It wasn't bad. It was just really thick and heavy, and I should have taken a picture of it. It was that really kind of gross looking chunky head on it, and interesting flavor. Like I like that that big bright tart blueberry thing that happened off the front that then finished in this kind of light mapley wispy thing. It was interesting, but man, it was just not drinkable. I like my beers to be drinkable. Speaking of drinking, let me take a sip of this, and then we have a lot that we could talk about tonight. There is some fun stuff happening, some interesting rumors, lots of stuff. So let's dive into this first, though. Chocolate stout. Chocolate stout with cocoa nibs. That would be the chocolate. That's kind of all it tells me. Brewed and packaged by Esoteric Brewing Company in Cincinnati, Ohio. Not under special arrangement. Ooh, yeah, that's good. It's definitely a chocolate stout, but sometimes with chocolate stouts, you go too heavy on the chocolate. Sometimes with craft beer in 2021, 2022, 2020, whatever, it's really easy to lean into those adjuncts very, very heavily and let them be the star of the show and let everything else just kind of be forgotten. This doesn't forget about the actual personality of the beer. There's a nice bitter chocolate thing going on, so that stout character can still kind of shine and come through, and it's really good. Let's start by run through some labels, because that'll start a couple conversations that I would like to have. If I've got them all pulled up here, hang on. I was literally pulling labels like seconds before. That's why the show was a little bit late, because I'm just behind on everything in my life right now. I promise that will get better in the near future. I actually there are two of these labels, two very quickly off the bat here, that I've known about for a little bit, and you guys will understand that here in just a minute, but that I was not talking about because I was asked not to talk about them. But now they're public on the on the TTB, so I was firing off emails like minutes before going live and just kind of letting people know that hey, I'm going to be talking about this right now, and we're going to need to talk about it on a different scale here soon. It'll make sense here in a minute, guys. I'm sorry. All right, let's start with something that is easy. Pull it up here for you. Just like that. Pull me up there. Fretboard. We've seen a bunch of fretboard labels kind of over the past year or so popping through. Nothing crazy. You guys have seen this beer. Sapphire Haze. They're hazy IPA. It's delicious. It's wonderful. I don't even think that there's a ton different with this label. I could be wrong on that, but Kentucky is clearly the reason that these are coming through. So like I said, nothing really to talk about on this one, other than it's here. But next is where we start to get into a real conversation. Okay, Madtree, you guys, if you were listening closely on the Madtree episode, you heard them mention canned cocktails. This is a Madtree canned cocktail. Vodka soda with grapefruit and ginger. A canned product, 0 sugar, 90 calories, gluten-free, 4.5% ABV, so it still is light and easy drinking. Let's see if we can find anything else on the can that's interesting that you will... crafted and canned by Madtree Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, not else a lot that you need to know. But it is a new product line for them. If you've been in their tap room in the last 6 months or so, probably even a little bit longer than that, you'll not be surprised to see this come out. They have added more and more cocktails to their draft list, so you can cocktails on tap. They've added more wine. Obviously, they have cider and things like that available too. It was only a matter of time before they did this. It was probably came down to something like this or a seltzer. I'm glad to see this as the way they're leaning right now versus a seltzer. Not that I don't think seltzer has a place in the world. Julia says this will be great for Alcove. I feel like this makes perfect sense for them. It does. It's a product that not to try to stereotype people, but I feel like the people that are hanging out in that Mad Tree tap room are just ready for this. John says they do a great job of having options for non-beer drinkers. On that note, I did see that I believe, I can't remember what it's called. Hang on just a second. Let me pull it up real quick here. Oh, Lord, guys, I'm so scatterbrained right now. Every single week, I start getting things together, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good week. I have time to figure this all out, and then when it actually comes time for the show, something always comes up, and chaos always ensues. I'm pulling up Untapped right now. At least I'm trying to. Locations. Mad Tree Brewing. All right, I guess you guys can watch me. Watch me look on here. All right, so this is what's on tap currently in the Mad Tree tap room. I'm looking for something very specific here. I had some Huevo tonight at Jungle Gyms. That was delicious. I also have some sitting in the bar near the room. It's not cold yet, though. Lord. This is not helpful, guys. Hang on. Here we go. All right, I found it. I should have prepped better. I know that this is, John says they got it in a beer too. Yeah, that's where I was headed with this. Leave No Trace. This is the first of their non-alcoholic beers that they are offering. I have not got to try it yet. I will be trying it in a few weeks. Is I think the next time that I'm planning on being at Mad Tree, and I promise when I am there, I will try some of this. It's 0.5%, so it's not alcohol free. It is non-alcoholic, which means just below that threshold. But there's one picture of it up on here, and as you can see, it is light in color. That is maybe the lightest colored beer that I think exists. It's dry hopped though, so I mean it should have some good flavor, hopefully. What are people rating it right now? 2.5 stars from Megan B. Sounds promising. Lydia says it's 4 stars. That's good. 3.25 from Gary. So yeah, not many people have rated it yet, but I promise that when I get to try it, I will give you guys an honest opinion. John says get Shelley's Smoldering Embers. What was that one? I saw it on here. Is it down? There it is. Oh, red ale. 1 star. Had 5 of these and still wasn't drunk. Something's wrong with this beer. Smoked red ale with molasses. Yeah, that sounds good. I think I could handle that. Anyway, so let's get back to the labels. I just, not that non-alcoholic beer is my product line that I go to. Not that not that products like Sway here are my product line that I go to. But I really, really, really appreciate breweries that are making stuff like this and creating not just products but spaces and environments that are accessible or that are built for people other than people like me. You know, there are enough tap rooms in the city for white men aged, 21 to 40. We need spaces that are designed and comfortable for other people, and we need products that are designed for other people too. And stuff like this are exactly that. So, hats off to Madry. I'm going to be talking about this a lot more, hopefully very soon, depending on when they get back to me and tell me, yeah, we're ready to talk about it. With the holidays, it may be a little bit before we can do that, but. Marco says Hispanic people too. That was included in everybody. Here's another Sway. So this is strawberry guava. So out of these two, I definitely am more excited about strawberry guava. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but that is my flavor. I don't really care about ginger all that much. No offense to any of the gingers out there. Okay, moving on. 7 Mile Winery. I pulled this because I don't know that I've ever paid attention to 7 Mile Winery before. They're in Middletown, evidently. I'm always interested by the amount of wineries and even distilleries that exists in this area that are licensed, that are making things that may not have a tap room or a tasting room or anything like that. They're just producing products. Wineries, especially because it's relatively easy compared to other stuff to create a winery. Marco says your favorite Spice Girl. Shout out to was that my show last week or your show last week? I don't remember which show that was on. It all blurs together. If you guys didn't listen to this week's Brewcast, make sure you also listen to this week's episode of Truth Beer Podsequences because they kind of go hand in hand. Listen to Truth Beer Podsequences first, and then listen to this week's Cincy Brewcast, because that's how they happened in life. So this, cranberry wine, whatever. We all know that there's plenty of mediocre wine being produced in the world. Not that this is mediocre wine. I've never tried it, but I don't know anything about it, so... my hopes are low, as always, with locally produced wine. There's some really great locally produced wine, but there's also some not great locally produced wine. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into something else exciting. This is a product. This is canned and packaged by Fizzy Bees LLC under special agreement in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know what that means. This is a Taft's product for a company that I don't know anything about them. I don't know where they are. I don't know who they are because it doesn't tell me anywhere on this can because it's all this new thing of like these companies that don't really exist. Fizzy Bees. They are sparkling cocktails. It's a better kind of cocktail for a better kind of good. I don't know what that means. That's our Fizzy Bees promise. We're up to all kinds of good, and I think I'm supposed to scan that QR code, and it tells me what they're doing that's good. It is ethically farmed, made with honey, a Cosmo state of mind, gluten-free, a Cosmo state of mind. Oh, my. 12 ounces, 140 calories, 11 grams of carbs, real fruit juice. It's kosher. It includes no artificial color. Vodka with natural flavors. So I'm curious. So it's a vodka cocktail. with juice in it. Where does the honey come into this? Is it you can't put honey in a Cosmo and make it still a Cosmo? Okay. So this is the first one, Fizzy Bees. This whole thing just drives me crazy. Fizzy Bees margarita. Same thing, except margarita flavor. Real fruit juice. Also made with vodka, because that's how we make our margaritas now, with vodka. Mojito. Guess what? Also made with vodka and real fruit juice and honey, because that's how you make a mojito. And then a Moscow Mule. Okay, there we go, with vodka. That makes sense. But then the honey. It's a kickin' Moscow Mule. Were they all kickin'? Oh, no, they're all different things. Okay, so the first one is a Cosmo State of Mind. Then we have Winita. That's not even a word. Winita Margarita. Then we've got So Mojito and a Kickin' Moscow Mule. Julia says there is nothing on the Googles about Fizzy Bees other than a bath and body shop that doesn't have a functional website. Maybe they're moving away from soaps and into cocktails. What happens if we scan this little QR code? Hang on, let me scan this little QR code here and see what comes up. Fizzybees.com. Nothing exists. So, I mean, this is a label coming through the TTB. It doesn't have to exist yet, but yeah, nothing's coming up on fizzybees.com. There's a Busy Bees. So this is the next in line of the Marco says you're going to break the interwebs. Karen says search the UPC. How do I search a UPC? All right, let's look it up. Let's see if I can figure this out. UPC search. Oh, UPC lookup. Look, that's a thing. Oh, I got to type in all these numbers? Okay, hang on. Oh, I missed it. Hang on. Zoom in. 95893434556. And it says it was incorrect or invalid. Okay, do I have to put the 1 and the 4 in there? I don't know, guys. Oh, there's an app. Just all right. Nothing's coming up. Just my first little. I don't think this quite exists yet. Is what I'm thinking. You got rickrolled. Wouldn't that have been funny? So this is a product that evidently is getting approval through the TTB, but they are all different UPC numbers. I don't know. I don't like things like this. I feel like it's a fake product. Not that it's probably not delicious. Karen says put the 1 in the 6. All right. Let's try one more time, guys. Yeah, it says the UPC number you were looking for currently has no record in our database, but it comes up. So it exists. It just doesn't have a record yet. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It is. We're gonna see more stuff like this before the world implodes upon itself. There's these companies. People create companies that exist just in like this digital world, and then they tell somebody else to create it. It doesn't tell me anything about a company that owns it. It just says it currently has no record in our database. Image not available. Then a picture of the UPC. And it gives me a UPC-A, an EAN 13, and a country of registration. And that is it. And then it gives me similar UPC numbers. Julia says, call Taft and ask them about it. They are not able to talk about products like this under contract. It is a contractual obligation, something or other. It's ridiculous is what it is. Not that I have a problem with contract brewing. We can really go down a whole rabbit hole there. Again, I don't care about contract brewing. I hate these fake products that are just not real things. It's designed to trick consumers. And Julia says, I'm going to ask for a Fizzy Bees next time I'm there. Just go poke around in the cooler, see if you can find one. Next up. Derek says, address of the copyright applicant is from some crappy-looking shopping center in Framingham, Massachusetts. Like I said, fake. It's a front. We've seen this one already, Blackberry astronaut food, but the label is finally through the public site. So there's not a lot to say about this other than I love Urban Artifacts artwork. It's absolutely fantastic. And this one is no exception. I actually don't know if I've tried the Blackberry. I tried the other one, whatever the other mixed berries were, but the Blackberry, I don't think I've tried it, and I'm not sure if it's hanging out in the fridge. I'm really far behind on all the beers in the fridge, so it could be in there. Okay. Some more Urban Artifacts. There's a bunch of Urban Artifact stuff, but this is some new labels for their Gozas. Most of the stuff is the same except for some of the wording on it. They are now, instead of telling you the total amount of fruit in a batch, a 30-barrel batch, they're breaking it down. Excuse me. They're breaking it down to each can. So this one has a third of an apple, a smidgen of salt, a speck of vanilla, and a dash of baking spice in each can. I think it's clever. I think it's fun. It's a little more fun. It also isn't as scientific as it used to be, and I think I liked that. I think I liked having these exact numbers of how much went into every batch. Oh, Lee says they have a Twitter account at the Fizzy Bees. Should we follow them on Twitter? Hang on. Do I have Twitter on my iPad here? Yes. At the Fizzy. Oh, yep, there they are. Ooh, they've got 15 followers too. Oh, looks like I just lost it. There you go. Let's go ahead and give them a follow here. How can I send? Can I send them a message somehow? Who's following them? Let's look. How can I do that? I don't know how to use this. There we go. 16 followers. Northwestern Golf. John McCammon. Benefit Bee. New Battle Bees. There's lots of bees following them. Oh, Lord. Isn't that interesting? Huh. All right, then. We'll definitely be bugging them a little bit. Yeah, I don't know how to do anything on this. There we go. New message to the fizzy bees. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing here. The fizzy bees. Yeah. I'll do some more I'll do some more digging into who these guys are. It's probably not something I should do while I'm sitting here on the air. Yeah, stay tuned, guys. That's gonna be my holiday week. Okay, so the bushel, like I said, they're shifting it into what's specifically in each can versus what's in the batch. I think it's a little too fun. I want some of the science that used to be there. Same thing with Key Punch. This fruit tart now has 2 key limes, a speck of vanilla, and a pinch of salt in each can. And then, that's the next one I want to talk about. This one has, so Pinwheel has the zest of 1 orange and a speck of vanilla. But going back, this is a keg collar. I don't typically pull the keg collars unless it's something really exciting or something that I think is going to be in cans that we just haven't seen yet. This is Nitro Kaleidoscope. I love Kaleidoscope, and I kind of want to drink it on Nitro. That sounds delicious. So I went ahead and pulled it because I think it sounds good. I don't anticipate you'll see this one in cans or bottles. I don't think there was a fun little trend there for a little while where everybody was trying to shove their Nitro beers into to cans. It didn't always turn out great, and I think we're past that. But I do think that this will be delicious on tap. So Pinwheel, we saw that one. Zest of 1 orange and a speck of vanilla. A new dinosaur beer. That's another exciting one. Tayberries. I don't know anything about Tayberries, other than they are in this beer. I assume it's some kind of red or blue-ish berry. Their dinosaur beers, to me, are what I want from Urban Artifact almost all the time. I think they're delicious. Julie says, I told you about Tayberries last week. What was the beer that we were talking about Tayberries with? I can't remember. I have forgotten everything. Yeah, so Spinosaurus, I'm ready for it. Give it to me. And that's all our labels. What were we talking about Tayberries? I remember that, but what the hell were we talking about? It all blends together, guys. We could I don't have my notes, but they're crosses between raspberries and blackberries. I remember that, but I can't remember why we were talking about it. I didn't already show that label, did I? Maybe I'm just... Oh, Matt says, did you see the label for the new release from Happy 2 this past weekend? The artwork is awesome. Sorry, can't remember the name of the brew. Yes. So that was not one that goes through the TTB because... so if you are only releasing a beer in your tap room and it's not hitting stores, if it's not crossing state lines, you don't really have to get label approval. So I don't typically see those, but it did make the list. I'm trying to pull it up right now so I can remember the name of it. Sea Beast. Yeah, so if you go onto the website and go under beer up here at the top and then go to this month's package releases, it pulls up an ever-evolving, ever-growing list of all of the beers that are released this month in packaging. And the last one that's on there is Happy 2 Sea Beast. There's actually I have a couple that probably need to make the list. Okay. We have a little more information about our. Hang on. I don't want to pull up all my text messages for you guys. It wasn't a text message. It was messages. Oh, Lord. Okay. Here is a little more information about our Fizzy Bees. And it really doesn't tell us a whole lot. Fizzy Bees LLC, Framingham. And that's pretty much it. So, not a lot, guys. Yeah, so I don't want to harp on them too much, but yeah, fake companies that don't really exist. So we could talk a little bit. We probably shouldn't about some rumors in the craft beer world. Marco says, "What was the place that wronged you with dirty glasses?" It's Buffalo Wings and Rings. Not that I have a problem with Buffalo Wings and Rings. The one here in Fairfield has a absolutely great tap list. It's right by Jungle Gym, so it's a good place to grab dinner before grocery shopping. But just over and over and over again, dirty glassware and just crap like that. I don't know what you're expecting from a place like that. It's like I said, it's a chain. They they take the glasses and they throw them in a big thing and then take them back to the kitchen and run them through a dishwasher that's also blasting chicken wings off of plates and God knows what else. Like, it's not going to get the glasses very clean, and I expect that, and I understand it. I don't want to be that guy that when you walk in the door, the bartender's grumbling because they have to hand wash your glass before they fill it with beer. At the same time, like if you want to serve craft beer, or if you, in my opinion, if you want to serve beer, you should do it the right way. It's gross to get a glass that is dirty and has somebody else's grime all over it. It's disgusting. Marco says it's tough when you want to lean into craft beer but can't serve a beer in a beer cooling glass. I agree with that 100%. Every once in a while, if it happens at a place, I get it, and I'm not that upset about it. But if it's a consistent thing and you don't seem to notice it and you don't seem to care, Sean says, I'm pretty certain any liquor license establishment must have a 3-compartment sink. Yeah, they must have it. It doesn't mean they must use it. There are plenty of places that don't run their glasses through it. They just run them through the dishwasher. Julia says, going back a few minutes, it was the Weekly Pint 2 weeks ago. The beer was Urban's Terrible Lizard made with obsidian berries, tay berries, and red raspberries. Loop close. There we go. That's it. That makes sense. So they, the Terrible Lizard is a cuvee of all of the fruit that they've used throughout the year in those dinosaur beers. They just can kind of combine them all together. So that's where the tay berries came from, was from this beer that we're now seeing the label for. Those also made it into, or will make it into, this year's cuvee. That makes sense. Science. Science, much like the fact that if you're serving a beer, it should be in a clean glass. It's like if you went to a restaurant and they put a fork in front of you and had a big glob of somebody else's food on it. It's completely normal to say, "Hey, can I get a clean fork?" And nobody questions that. But for some reason, with beer, we're still at that point where people question why you're sending a beer back because there's a dirty glass. It's strange. Marco says, "What rumors?" I probably shouldn't talk about it right now. There's just stuff always happening, and places opening, places closing. It seems like every time I talk to people, especially in the last couple of years, everybody is insistent that there are several places that are getting ready to close or whatnot. Usually proves to be not true. Sometimes it pans out, and it is. Well, I'll pass it on to you guys. Any fun local beer rumors that you have heard in the recent past? Julia says, "Tell us about the Stillhouse." Pretty sure that's something you can talk about. Yeah, I can talk about that. So OTR Stillhouse. While I'm talking about it, feel free to chat with any local beer rumors that you guys want to share along with everybody. OTR Stillhouse opened this weekend in OTR. Clever enough. And it's incredible. Not that there haven't been places that have made multiple products like that. Obviously, Valley Vineyards is doing wine and mead and beer. And we want to talk about rumors. I've heard rumors of other stuff maybe happening. You've got obviously the March 1st juggernaut of a company making seltzer and beer and spirits and cider. But there hasn't been a place that has done things to the level that OTR Stillhouse is currently doing. They are obviously making beer. They had 11 or 12 beers on tap for the grand opening. And from everything I tasted, they were all fantastic. They were a step above a lot of the beers in town. They are making their own seltzers. They had several seltzers. I want to say maybe 4. They have house-made sodas. So if you are a non-drinker, a non-alcoholic drinker, you can have something non-alcoholic. They have house-made wine from the grapes too. It's not like they were just bringing in juice and fermenting juice, which is the easier way to do it. And I feel like the way that a lot of places would do it at this scale. And then obviously spirits too. Incredible food, a music venue, a huge, huge space, a big indoor space and a big outdoor space, 2 levels, a bottle shop upstairs, patio, and a bar upstairs, and then downstairs the big actual music venue with a huge bar. I mean, it just really, really, really crazy. Joseph says, still waiting on Sonder announcing their bakery. I heard it on a podcast once. Sonder is, well, we're getting too into the rumor thing. So OTR Stillhouse is really doing something that hasn't been done at this level yet, and I'm really excited to see how people accept it and how people. So Julia says, is all the food skewer, or do they have more than one food provider? No, from what I can tell, it's just the one food provider, the skewer. But it's really good food, like really, really, like it's good, like drinking food, like small kind of plate stuff that you can like almost snacky kind of stuff, but really like well done. Like it's good food. Not to say that having pizza or barbecue or something in a tap room is bad, but this was something just very different than what other places are doing. So it's refreshing to see. It was pretty impressive. So I'm excited to see it's in a good spot. It's not super in your face though. Like when you're driving down Central Parkway, I think it's probably easy to pass it by and not even notice it. Julia says, shameless plug, my nephew was told to run be a big part of Skewer. Yeah, I'm excited for it, especially when you get into the warmer months where that outside area opens up and people can hang out there and just drink heavily. It was crowded when I was there. I was there on the night before the grand opening, which was probably busier than the grand opening from what I could tell. So clearly I made the wrong choice. It was packed, but I did get to spend a little bit of time talking to some industry friends that I don't get to hang out with that much, and that was fun. And got to talk about some of those fun rumors that we don't talk about. So we talk about all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. So this week's Brewcast, this one that posted today. If you guys didn't listen to it, we were BC's. I was hanging out with Marco and Julia. It was a last minute kind of fill-in show, so I appreciate them hanging out with me. We did kind of a recap of the year a little bit. It was a Christmas show, so we talked about everything that's happened this year, and John, of course. But John's not on here, so we're not going to give him credit. And we talked a little bit about what's happened this year and what's coming next year, and just kind of recapped it all. And it was a good show. Drank some Christmas beers. Next week's episode is still up in the air a little bit because of Christmas week. There is a high likelihood that I probably will not have a show unless. No, I will probably not have a show. I'm still waiting on seeing. I may have one night this week where I have to do something else, and if I actually don't know if it makes it easier or harder if I have to go do something else. If I go do that, I may do a show there. Maybe I don't know. There may be a show. There may not be a show. That's the moral of the story, because of the holidays. But then the following week I'll have something, but it might just be me again because of holiday stuff going on. So yeah, that's that. So as far as people talking about rumors, we have, the standard stuff that you guys, John feels like there's something going on with Braxton. There's always stuff going on with Braxton. There's always rumors around Braxton, but usually they're not completely true. They're always built on something, but Julia says, I heard that March 1st doesn't actually have a brewer. They just have people who push buttons. That's why Brian doesn't exist. He's a button. And then still waiting on Sonder announcing the brewery. I heard on a podcast once. Yeah, Sonder is poised to do some big things. They've got that Revel space opening right next door, which is going to have a Sonder tap room kind of inside. So there's going to be like a separate space right there for co-working and things like that serves Sonder beer right next to Sonder. So that's interesting. It kind of starts to expand that campus a little bit of what Sonder is. Love to see some more parking become part of that, but we'll see. There are lots of fun things. You guys will definitely be hearing more about Cincinnati beer in the coming months. New breweries opening and new breweries closing. Adam says right next to Sonder. Yeah, right next to Sonder, where that baseball place used to be. That's going to become this big co-working space with all kinds of stuff. There's a golf simulator and things going in there. It's going to be big, and it's going to be. Go listen to I think it was the latest episode of Sonder Stories. They talked about it a little bit, but you can probably, I assume they have a website where you can dig in a little bit deeper of what it's gonna be. So revelmason.com, REVEL Mason. They've got a website up that kind of tells you about what's going on. They say fall of 2022. So co-working space, individual offices that you can book and things, an event center. So obviously that helps Sonder too of people wanting to rent some space out. Let's see what's the Revel Tap Room. This gives you a little peek at what that looks like. Powered by Sonder Brewing. Can welcome up to 80 guests. So it's a rentable tap room, basically. There's a spot on there where you can book it, but so here's your pricing. If you want to rent a semi-private office, that's $500. Private offices are $1,400. I don't know how is that a month? My God. Oh boy. Here we go. There's the sports simulator and game room, an executive lounge. They are building in a podcast studio, seminar room, a tasting room, and a commercial kitchen. So, I mean, it's gonna be a big thing, but yeah, a little expensive for me. Let's see. Julia says the building behind Fretboard had a big fretboard something in the window behind the glass, not on actual display. Couldn't tell what it was just by driving by. Could be something happening there. Not that I've heard of, but it wouldn't surprise me if they have some kind of warehouse space right there that they are using. If you look at if you look, especially Fretboard is a great example of it. If you walk in and you look around, knowing how much product they're cranking out, they have to have a place to store all of that other stuff, and it's not right there always. So, Marco says you can listen to Truth Beer Consequences on Friday when we talk about it. Adam says spring of 2024 at the rate of everything. Yeah, it's hard to make stuff happen these days. Especially a project like that. Is from what I understand, this has been a project in the works for a very long time. I don't know that it was always going to be in that same building. It might have been originally planned for somewhere else right there, but then when that building became available, it just kind of fit. So I don't know. I'm excited to see anybody and everybody growing. The next year is going to be interesting. I can no longer say that we went an entire year without a brewery opening up because we had OTR Stillhouse that now is officially open. Although they've been open for a while, kind of. They've been in production since 2017. If you walk in, that's the other thing I didn't talk about. If you walk in today, you can buy whiskey that is their whiskey. It's been aging for 4 years. Because they've been producing for that long. They just didn't open the tap room until they had all of this product ready to go, which is impressive. So they've kind of been open for a long time. They had a beer out in the spring. They did that the Missing Link. They did their own variant of that. So they didn't really just open, but they did just open. So I don't know where they fall on the list when I start to figure out what date to put them under. But I can't say that there hasn't been a brewery in a year, I guess. But with that being said, clearly next year is going to have a lot more breweries open than did this year because we only had the one. So it's going to be an exciting year. I think I mentioned that somebody told me that they had heard 3 or 4 places were going to be closing soon. And I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least one that's getting ready to go. So if you love a place, go support them. That's all I can say, I guess. Let's go. Let's wrap this up, guys. We're right about an hour, and I'm tired. So congrats to the Bengals for being first place in the division. I believe the Raiders ended up winning, right? It was really close. That was good. And then we've got, of course, Bearcats coming up this week on, I guess it's next week, right? No, Christmas is this week. New Year's is next week. So that'll be fun. I guess we have an episode of the Weekly Pint in between now and then that we can talk about that, but I'm pumped about that. It's going to be a fun game. I can't think of anything else that's going on in the meantime, so follow on social media. Anything that is happening, you'll hear about it there. I did go to Winterfest. We could have talked about that, about some of the fun drinks that I had there, but I guess we'll save it for another time because we're already in an hour, and I don't know what's happening with my children. So thank you, guys. If you like what I do here or anywhere, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support to support all of this. I promise we are mere weeks away from things opening up and changing in a very good way. So thanks for following through all of the hectic times. Not that it won't be hectic again, but it's going to be different. Thank you guys very much. Cheers. Everybody have a good night. Everybody have a wonderful Merry Christmas if we don't talk before then. Maybe I'll do a live stream sometime during the week, but if not, everybody enjoy your family. Enjoy some drinks and some presents. Cheers, everybody. I'm bringing a bacon flight to brunch on Christmas, and I'm pretty pumped about that. Just food for thought.